It's a beautiful day. Hey, 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 hey. It's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day. Hey, 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 it's a beautiful day.
Hello Western Australia and welcome to our town. We've loaded up the crew car and we're ready to hit the road. Yep, we're going on a road trip through the wheat belt. First stop is Lake Grace. Then we'll be making our way through the wheat belt as we take our journey via one of the pathways to Wave Rock. So buckle up peeps, we're heading east. A leisurely 4-hour drive from Perth and a couple of coffee stops along the way, and we've made our way to Lake Grace, one of the largest agricultural shires in the state. Covering almost 12,000 square kilometres, the shire takes in the communities of Newdigate, Lake King, Varley, Pingaring, and of course, Lake Grace. In and around Lake Grace, there are so many things to experience, and just about all of them are free. From historical museums to wildflowers, this area is a photographer's dream. But to make sure we don't miss out on anything, our first stop to town is the Lake Grace Visitor Centre. The restored Station Master's House was built back in 1924, and it's where the nearby railway station's manager lived. The railway closed in 1987, and after falling into a state of disrepair, ownership of the building was transferred to the Shire in 2002, where the Lake Grace Development Association commenced plans to convert the building to a visitor information centre. Volunteers have beautifully restored the building and grounds, receiving funding from various government and non-government groups. And after opening as the Lake Grace Visitors Information Centre in 2005, it's now the first stop for many travellers to the region. As well as finding out about the best spots to visit in the Shire, you'll find local produce and crafts for sale, as well as some great artwork. There's several trails you can do in the area, so when you're at the Visitor Centre, make sure you pick up a map of the Lake Grace Story Trails. Then you can make your own way through the town and discover the heritage of the local community. It's a nice, easy walk which you can do at your own pace, and you'll be guided by sidewalk plaques on the town's main street. One of the more popular attractions in the Shire is the Australian Inland Mission Hospital Museum, where you can follow a 50-metre pathway of commemorative plaques that depict the life of the hospital, its staff and its patients. The hospital is one of only 3 in Australia and the only one in WA, with a walkway that takes you from the highway through Apex Park into this beautifully restored museum. Once you enter the hospital, you can wander through old-style wards and experience what an operating rural hospital was like in the early 20th century. Built in the early 1900s, back in its time, this hospital serviced around 16,000 square kilometres, with the historic building now listed with the National Trust. And it really gives you a unique appreciation of the conditions patients and staff would have endured many years ago. On your visit to the Hospital Museum, you'll also be able to learn all about Reverend John Flynn, the remarkable man who was the first superintendent of the Australian Inland Mission, which established the bush hospitals throughout Australia and is well known for helping improve healthcare for those living in remote locations. Flynn founded what was the world's first air ambulance, which went on to be the Royal Flying Doctor Service. As I mentioned earlier, from a photographer's point of view, you can go crazy taking pics out this way. And if you're travelling through from August to November, you'll be treated to some amazing colours, with the wildflowers well and truly on show. A region of many skies and horizons, the colour of the wildflowers and rural backdrops really are something to experience. And there's no shortage of vantage points to get the best out of this part of the country. Now don't go away. We'll be right back as we continue our journey towards Wave Rock.
It's a beautiful day.
Just a half hour from Lake Grace is Newdigate, a town well known for its annual agricultural machinery field days, but it's also a town with plenty of history. The Hainsworth building, which is home to the Newdigate Pioneer Museum, was originally a general store in the early 1930s. And the heritage listed building also functioned as a boarding house for railway workers and travellers to the region. This building was commissioned by Charles Hainsworth, hence the building's name, and it was built by a man by the name of Ted Freeland. Many functions have taken place here over the years, and now it's been superbly kept as a museum. There's no shortage of history on display here via a great collection of old photographs, historical artefacts and musical instruments from times of early settlement. Another display of the region's history can be found at nearby Lake King, at the new Lake King Tractor Museum. And for those looking to make their way through the region by four-wheel drive, can do so via the John Holland Track, where you'll get to embark on a real Australian outback adventure. All the info on this and much more can be found at the Lake Grace Visitor Centre. As we make our way to Coolin, we're dropping into what people are saying is an authentic Western Australian wheatbelt rural experience.
The Nenke family first took up land here in 1912. They moved here in 1914. And Michael and I are the third generation, and we have our three sons, Paul, Derek and Ian, and their families making the fourth, and of course the grandchildren making the fifth generation. So very much been here for over 100 years.
Nowadays, the property, about a half hour's drive from Lake Grace, is run as Mary's Farm Cottages, and the family offers a unique and welcoming eco-friendly accommodation service, with the Nenkes forever determined to make sure the environment is kept for future generations.
We like to offer something very different with the cottages. People are looking for a real life experience on a farm. With our cottages, they can actually sit in any of the cottages and look out the front window and not see anybody else. The peace and quiet is just extraordinary. 25 years ago, we saw the amazing opportunity of yabbies. So we started buying yabbies from our neighbours, and over the years we've bought yabbies from over 1,000 people, and we're now the largest, most sophisticated yabby establishment in Australia.
While you're here, you'll be taken on a complimentary tour of the family's yabby farm and get to sample local products at Cabanata Yabbies. And if you're travelling through in October, you'll be lucky enough to experience the Cabanata Extravaganza, where the region celebrates the diversity and fabulous gourmet products of the Wheatbelt heartlands. On your travels through the Wheatbelt, this place is certainly worth a stopover. It's so much more than a farm. It's a place where you're made to feel welcome, and it's a great break away from the city. Now stay right where you are. We'll be back very soon with more as we continue our road trip to Wave Rock.
It's a beautiful day.
Next stop on the map, and we're making our way to Coolin, right in the heart of the Wheatbelt. Coolin Shire covers an area of 4,700 square kilometres and includes the towns of Pingarring, Judinan, Jitarning, Holt Rock and of course Coolin. Coolin itself is around 280 k's from Perth, and the town and surrounding region prides itself on being a progressive, proactive, safe and friendly community. A community that has achieved some remarkable things over recent times. The Shire of Coolin is the Eastern Wheatbelt's information point for tourists to the region, with quality facilities also providing a location and environment where families, individuals, visitors and community groups can find support, networks, training, events and resources. Coolin is also a proud farming community and over the years has suffered on some tough times. Almost 2 decades ago, local farmer Graham Robertson needed his town to survive, so he suggested that the town build their own traditional bank, somewhere that would encourage locals to stay in town and to spend locally, a place that would belong to the community.
Late 90s, we lost our local bank and the Shire and the community demanded a banking presence in town because people were going elsewhere to do their banking and also their shopping, and it was affecting our town. The Bendigo Community Bank model was the only one that was available to us as far as a banking proposition, and we were lucky enough to be able to purchase a franchise from Bendigo and bought the first community bank into Western Australia. It's been fantastic for our area and also for our town, and as it's turned out, for the state as well.
From a historical point of view, Coolin's history is still visible today, with old buildings and memories of yesteryear still on show throughout the town. A significant piece of Coolin's heritage is Butler's Garage and Museum, a building that goes back to the 1920s. The building has a strong history within Coolin and the Shire in that it's associated with the development of the local agricultural industry and tells a great story about the true identity of the region. The garage has been fully restored into the current day museum, but back in the mid-1920s, it was established as a machinery agency business by W.M. Butler & Co. of Wickerton. Later that decade, Bill Butler, the son of the original owner, took over the agency and developed it further with the construction of a garage on site. The agencies functioned continuously until 1994, and the architecture is a fine example of construction from the Depression years. Nowadays, the museum contains an impressive collection of vintage cars, farm equipment and machinery, and gives a great insight into the region's historical agricultural industry. Coolin is your typical sheep and grain farming district, and during the spring months is a popular stopover during the wildflower season, where the countryside lights up with stunning fields of colour. From a visitor's point of view, for those driving to and through the eastern wheat belt, Coolin is a great spot to set up base, with the Shire really catering for all types of traveller. And if you'd like to settle in for a few days, you can stay at the local caravan park and, can you believe it, set your own price.
In 2015, Coolin Council and staff came up with the idea to basically bring people into our town, pay as you like, and it allows people to pay more or less. They can make that decision on their experience within the Coolin region. And we've found it's worked really well. People are staying that extra night or two and using our facilities, and it's good for the whole area.
Time for a light-hearted look at this part of the wheat belt as you make your way around the region. And a topic of conversation that puts a smile on the dial of many passerby. Have you heard of the Tin Horse Highway? Well, if you haven't, you have now. The very imaginative and quite hilarious open-air gallery is part of the 120-kilometre tourist drive towards Wave Rock. And you can't help but laugh as you make your way through this very quirky open-air gallery. What started out as a something different community marketing campaign a few years ago has now become one of Western Australia's most popular self-drive tours. The initial campaign was designed to promote one of the wheat belt's most iconic and popular annual events, the Coolin Bush Races. The Coolin Bush Races are not your normal day at the races. This event attracts around 4,000 punters each year, and they come from all over the country. This year's event marks 22 years since the first races, back in 1995. And the weekend's festivities are not only about the horse racing, this is a real family affair.
The races have a great following from people from all over who come out to enjoy our race day, and we love to come out and volunteer every year. We have done for 22 years, and we've put about $1 million back into Coolin over that time, and we just love the fact that we can put back into the community while we're all enjoying the race day.
what a way to round out our adventure in Coolin at the Coolin Races, the first weekend in October every year. Put it in your diary.
It's a beautiful day.
Well, folks, this is it. We're on the final leg of our road trip as we make our way to Wave Rock. We've already covered some serious miles on our journey so far, but we're almost there. We've made our way to Condinin, the Shire base for the neighbouring towns of Calgarin, some 45 kilometres east, and Hyden, where we'll be wrapping up our road trip. Fertile farmlands, spectacular woodlands, majestic salt lakes and picturesque seasonal coloured fields make up a shire that is the heart of grain and sheep country. The town of Condinin is widely known as the gateway to Wave Rock, which is only 40 minutes away. It's a town with plenty of character and lots of history, going back to 1848 when Surveyor General J.S. Rowe first made his way through the area, before the town was settled in 1910. Today, there are about 400 people who live in Condinin. Many people who work the land and have done so over family generations. And it's the key agricultural centre for the district. And for those interested in the town's olden days, there's no shortage of historic landmarks on display. We're on the Yirrakan Rock Walk Trail, just 12 k's from Condinin, and we're currently on Yirrakan Rock, the site of an historic water catchment scheme. The rock has 2 trails, and in spring, this is the best spot to enjoy the wildflowers. And it offers visitors great bushwalks and spectacular views all year round. If you're at Yirrakan Rock at sunrise, the silhouette of a light horseman will rear up out of the darkness, remembering the spirit of the young locals who joined the 10th Light Horse Regiment all those years ago. The statue, which was made possible via community funding, commemorates those who sacrificed their lives for their country during World War I, and is a popular place of meeting on Anzac Day for a very moving dawn service. Heading east of Condinin, and we're in the tiny farming community of Calgarin, a town with a population of less than 50 people. The town's motto is small and proud, but what this little outback town lacks in size certainly makes up for in character. Calgarin was first settled in the 1920s, and many of the town's buildings still retain that old world charm. Merv's Museum, part of Tressie's Caravan Park, offers a great snapshot of local history, including pioneering farming tools and old equipment. But most impressive is Merv's working display of gramophones and 78 records, over 5,500 of them. Merv has been collecting this wonderful array of records for over 40 years, all of them in beautiful condition, with some of them dating back as far as 1905. Our journey continues east, just a short drive from Calgarin, and we reach Hyden, where you'll come across the prehistoric rock formation that is known as Wave Rock. This is what we've driven miles for. Wave Rock is said to be 2,700 million years old, and it's 15 metres high and 110 metres long. This place is very cool, and you can see why it is the most famous rock formation in WA's Golden Outback region. Over millions of years, Wave Rock has been eroded by the weather, with a giant curved rock face bearing a striking resemblance to a wave that's about to crash over the surrounding bushland. Over the wetter months, water from the springs runs down the rock, with the dissolving minerals adding to the colouring of the wave. A short walk to the top and you get a really good view of the surrounding region. This area has some impressive landscapes, many the subject of fascinating Dreamtime stories. You could spend just hours up here taking it all in. The second most visited spot in Hyden is Hippo's Yawn, which is connected to Wave Rock. It's part of a loop walking trail, which is about 1 kilometre long, and you can certainly see where it gets its name from. Mulca's Cave is just a short drive north from Wave Rock, with the name Mulca coming from an Aboriginal legend who was associated with the cave. Now, there's a few stories going around about Mulca, including that he used to catch and eat children, becoming the terror of the district. Apparently, he lived here in the cave, where the imprints of his larger-than-ordinary man-hands can still be seen. What a road trip. One I can definitely recommend. You can see why this picturesque part of WA is known as Australia's Golden Outback. And it's just one of many drive trails you can take through this amazing state of ours. Well, time for us to pack up and hit the road. But remember to follow us on Facebook as we look forward to our next adventure, where we'll see you somewhere in WA.
It's a beautiful day.